Welcome. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the shame that we often have around when we have debts. And for some people, and we invite you to tap along with us, even if you're not sure if this applies, some people may feel like they just deserve to have this debt. They deserve to struggle. Maybe they saw their parents struggling or their grandparents struggling, or maybe they have guilt about something else that's totally unrelated to money, but they feel like they need this burden, they deserve this burden. So, what we would like you to do is, even if you think that this doesn't apply to you, tap along because our survival brain it's kind of tricky about how it holds things. And one of the things Rick and I get really excited about is when someone says, well, this doesn't make sense because often the decisions we made about deserving good things or deserving to have burdens, they happen when we were very little. And our survival brain, it's hard to talk it out of illogical things. Our cognitive brain can go in and say, well, this is true and this is true, and we can talk ourselves out of certain beliefs. But the ones that aren't quite so logical, they're harder to convince ourselves differently. A little bit of tapping can really help with that. I'm here with Rick from thrivingnow.com, and I'm Kathy from the Intimacy Dojo, and we're excited that you're here looking at this. Rick, do you have anything you want to add before we tap?
Yeah, deserve this burden. We've worked with many people who, from the outside, you know them, you love them, you care about them, and you don't feel at all like they deserve a burden. But somewhere inside their being, their body, their primitive brain, wherever, there's this part of them that really feels like, I deserve this. I must deserve this.
Yeah,
I must deserve this burden, this debt, these feelings that I have, this shame.
yeah,
So I'd love for you to do some tapping with us all. Kathy, if you would lead
yes.
us, and let's see if we can start the calming process, and also maybe even build a little confidence here too.
Absolutely. And one of the most beautiful things about tapping is it will never convince you of something that's not true. Tapping is like a truth serum somehow. So if you tap and this is not related to you, all you'll get is clarity that this is not your thing. And which is a nice thing. I love checking off boxes. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. And if it is something, whether it's buried or conscious, you'll get more clarity on that. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And notice that you're wherever you're sitting, that the you're being supported. You're not having to hold yourself up. Notice the pressure of your butt in the seat and the feet on the floor. Another nice slow deep breath. Karate chop. Even though I have this burden,
Even though I have this burden,
and I don't think I'll ever get out from under it
and I don't think I'll ever get out from under it,
because part of me thinks I deserve it.
this part of me thinks I deserve it.
It's my own fault.
It must be my own fault.
That thing I did back then.
That thing I did back then.
And my parents never had it any better.
And my parents never had it any better.
How can I get out from under this
How in the world can I get out from under this
when I don't deserve to?
when I don't deserve to?
Top of the head, I deserve this debt.
I deserve this debt.
Eyebrow, no wonder I can't get away from it.
No wonder I can't get away from it.
Side of the eye, I deserve this burden.
I deserve this burden,
Under the eye, and I'm going to carry it for the rest of my life.
and I'm going to carry it for the rest of my life.
Under the nose, but I don't want to.
But I really don't want to.
Chin, I'd really like freedom and ease.
I would really like freedom and ease.
Collarbone, but part of me thinks I deserve it.
Part of me thinks I deserve it.
Under the arm, what if I could deserve it a little less?
What if I could deserve it a little less?
Top of the head, what if I could forgive myself
What if I could forgive myself
and start to allow more abundance in my life?
and start to allow more abundance in my life?
Take a nice slow deep breath. And just notice how you feel in your body. Is there certain areas that feel heavy or tingly or tense or whatever's going on? And notice any thoughts that are coming up in your mind. A lot of times when we do just a little tapping, like if you imagine an old stagnant pond and we stir it, some of the things that float to the surface are things we really need to clear out of there. So whatever's coming up, like, oh, that time I was 3 and my parents said I ruined their new carpet, or images. One of my earliest memories is remembering my parents screaming about money while my sister and I hid behind the couch and cried. Whatever that is that comes up, it's probably lodged in your survival brain, and just a little bit more tapping can start to clear that out. Like, just like if you had a clogged drain and you pulled out the bit of cloth that was stuck in there, everything starts shifting.
Right. And this is part of a continuing process of developing this real skill of calming down the overwhelm and letting go of a belief, even if it doesn't make like logical sense, the belief that we deserve a burden or that we'll never get away from it. Those beliefs can stick in our system. And a part of us tries to keep it true unless we take action. And you've just taken action. Congratulations. And we'd love to continue this with you. We've got lots of resources. Look below, and there's some links. I encourage you and invite you to follow.
Yes,
Thanks.
wonderful.